Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem HaRachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders. Here, great millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So this channel, David Hoffman, he puts up a lot of old videos. This video was put up in it was actually originally put up in 1968 about, Jake and Esau trying to sit down and try to understand their differences, and they're talking about integration and so forth. And it shows that really nothing changed from 1968 all the way up to now. So we're talking over 50 years, nothing changed. And the only thing that's going to change is prophecy taking place and our Lord Yahweh Shai coming back. Yahweh Shai is who the world calls Jesus Christ, but that's not his true name. His true name is Yahweh Shai. And he's a so-called black man. And he's coming back, and he's going to bring the one to bring about change. And he's the one that's going to bring about liberation to the Israelites. And he's also going to come back to restore the world. And in doing so, this prophecy tells you that in the end, all right, the other nations, they are going to witness the Lord's children coming back and standing on their own 2 feet. And they are going to witness the Lord's people taking accountability for sinning against their Lord. And they're going to witness the spiritual growth of the Lord's chosen people before the physical deliverance happens. And they're all going to get told their judgment. And the judgment that they're going to get told, if you wanted to summarize it, is that you other nations, since you all had a partake in the downfall of the Lord's people, that you are going to have to pay for what you did. If anybody understands the Bible, they should understand that the Lord is a just power, and that he is a rewarder of those. He rewards those to what they do. So if you call yourself a Christian and you believe in the Bible, then you should understand that the Lord rewards those for what they do. And even when you get judged, you're going to get judged for the things that you have done. Well, it's just the same for the Edomites, the so-called Caucasian race. The Lord is going to reward these Edomites for the things that they have done in the earth. And that's just how it's going to be. So once they see that their power is leaving them, then that's when they want to talk about coming together, and then talk about we are all equal. We can all just get along. But by now, our people understand that they don't really mean that. Really what they mean is, because Esau is in a position of a power-hungry position, and he's also in a losing position. His position is, I want to stay in power. So I only believe that we can, quote unquote, live together just as long as I remain in the power seat, or I remain the final judge, or I get the final say. That's what he really means. He doesn't actually mean that he wants to live peacefully with his brother Jacob. He never wants that. He never wanted that. And that's what this whole thing was about.
1,000 years ago, there was a Greek philosopher who said that those who do injustice are more harmed than those who receive injustice. And anybody who marched into those white neighborhoods last fall would know from the looks of the hatred and the fear on the white people's faces that they have been more harmed by the way they have treated the Negro race than the Negroes, as badly as they have been harmed, have been treated. And I think that the white race in this country needs this revolution even more than the Negro race needs it.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what something a descendant of Cain would say, because that's exactly what Cain said. Slew his own brother, but then when the judgment came, oh, woe is me. That's exactly, and just like Lamech, same thing, right? And I'm pretty sure whoever that philosopher was, that philosopher really just meant, I'm pretty sure he meant that you're going to receive it worse. Because if you go around doing harm to people, you're going to receive it back worse. But she just want to talk about on the psychological standpoint. So you see, that's how these devils operate. Yeah, we mistreated you, we killed you, we've done all these horrible things to you, but we're the ones suffering the most because we have to deal with the psychological. No, I'm pretty sure that philosopher was saying you're going to feel it even worse because that's how the scriptures get down. So this is the book of Job 4, verse 8. I'm using my other phone here. He says, even as I have seen, they that plow in iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So the things you do, the Lord will judge you according to those things. The very same things you are known for doing, or the things you sow or that you reap. I'm sorry, the things that you sow, those are the things you're going to reap. So right now what it is these Edomites, they can see that their judgment is coming. And if you ever talk to one that's honest, they'll tell you that their greatest fear is that they're going to end up, that we would do the same thing that they would do to them. That's why they have a system in place to ensure that they stand in power, because they're afraid that if the power was to ever shift, that we would get the upper hand and that we would do to them all the things that they have done to us. That's really what they're afraid of. They're afraid of that just judgment. That's why they have a system established on keeping our people oppressed. But this is them trying to really use every avenue possible that they can to avoid being judged from the Lord. And their ultimate last plan, right, if all else fails, is basically going to hit the self-destruct button. So in his eyes, he's either going to win, right, or nobody wins. That's in his eyes. So all the talk about, oh, we can get along, I'm all about seeing our people work together. No, it's just so long as you're in the power seat. Because if it's one thing you're not going to do, you're not going to give up your position. That's for sure. That's why they'll live in the comfort of their homes. They'll drive an hour out to go to work. Oh, I don't mind working. I don't mind living. But no, you don't. Because like the one's about to say, because at the moment our people was to move in next door to you, you looking to get out, right? You really want to say, just as long as I live in my own area, and just as long as our people get the final say. That's how it is. That's really what they mean. Okay, because their greatest fear is to let Jacob go. They don't want Jacob to be free. Right? They've always feared Jacob to be free. The first nation to come against the Israelites were the Edomites, free from Egypt. It was the Amalekites. Today, those are the so-called Jews. And then there was Moabite that tried to move. Why? Because as long as the Lord's chosen people were in captivity, they knew that they could go about their wickedness on the earth and they won't have anybody judge them, because the Lord established the Israelites as judges of the earth, which I'll read that real fast. It's Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young and the maid. Okay, I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and the flock, and with thee I will break in pieces the husbandman and the yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And that's exactly what the Lord did when he gave the power to the Israelites to first and foremost go and destroy those African nations. Those who resisted were destroyed, and those who didn't, we received in, like Rahab, in the scriptures referred to as Rahab the harlot. They understood that since we're free now, we're in trouble because they live a life of evil and sin. But the one who executes the judgment is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, but he uses the people. So these Edomites know that if we was to ever literally get free, then they're afraid that that judgment can come to them, right? That's why they want to have a hold on us, and they don't want to let us go no matter what.
Well, go right ahead, ma'am. Yes.
My name
name is Mrs. Elmer Lazar, and my husband and I are 100% for the Negro. I want to state that. In fact, when people say, would you like to have a Negro live next door to you, I said he has a perfect right to.
Do you have a Negro next door to you?
No, not yet, but I mean, I would really not mind it.
Check your own.
However, and I am for the Negro, I want to see him get ahead, but now in regard to what this gentleman said, where is this Negro going to purchase his needs, get his needs? All right, fine. All right, I want to address another remark to Mr. Meek. Many of my friends have been for the Negro, but ever since this violence started, they have turned against him. How do you go about not alienating the white man who has been for you
We don't
through
care.
violence?
We don't care. He, for
don't
400 years, they have murdered, burned, raped, castrated, and tortured. I give less than a hootenanny what any white person thinks about this black man here.
Well, but don't you want us to be with
I don't
you?
want you to do anything but leave us alone.
Oh.
We don't need you.
But I mean moral support. I don't mean do anything for you, but
Work in your own neighborhood with the white people, they need the morality. We don't.
stood up for the Negro, and now they say, well, now when they resort to violence, we are not with
resorts to
them.
violence?
Well, I mean in some of these riot areas.
Well, riot areas. You talk about we resort to violence. I talked to a reporter for Newsweek who told of National Guardsmen shooting down people in the back. Understand? As they're walking down the street minding their business, shooting in caliber machine guns.
Yes,
Now, wait a minute, listen. You said about violence. Yeah, I get sick in my stomach when I hear a white person talk about violence. You're the most violent people in the world.
I believe
You're
that.
born on it. You
I
live on
believe
it. You're
that.
sick with
I believe
it.
it.
You're saturated with it.
But
We
perhaps-
have been the most peaceable, law-abiding fools the world has ever seen.
Well, perhaps our media of communication is misinterpreted then.
Of course it is. We don't want you to love us. We don't love you.
Then we are not being represented. You are not being represented properly through the press.
The heck with the press.
Right here and now, the tragedy.
Nobody loves a rap press, baby. Believe it. But they won't report it truthfully.
Well, perhaps that's it.
They won't show that all the black folks shot were shot above the shoulders.
Well, Mr. Meek, here is a lady who is obviously a liberal and wants to help you.
I never heard of a liberal.
You call yourself a liberal?
Yes, I do. Yes.
This is a dilemma
I mean,
that a lot
that's
of
the
people
kind
have.
feeling toward all people, the Negroes, everybody.
But the lady,
I mean, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
And there's no white liberals, there are only black leaders.
You know, show me. Yeah, we want some white.
But you see, that's how they are now. It's, well, wait a minute now. I'm all for you, but why you got to get violent? And that's what we just look at them like there's something wrong with them, because everything they've got, they taken by violence. They just don't want it to happen to them. You understand? They don't want themselves to be in the same shoes as the victims that they've caused hell and anguish to all these days. They just don't want to be in that judgment seat, and they're trying their hardest to avoid the judgment seat, since they have the power, because the Lord gave them the rulership in the end. I just did a lesson on it about Rome, okay? Filthy, disgusting nation, just a disgusting nation. The Lord gave you the power, but anyway, since they have the power, they're trying to look for ways to be exonerated from the judgment. And the peaceable talk is always one method. Well, wait a minute, we can come together now. But why you got to get violent? They're trying to find a way to be exonerated without being judged. This is their way to try to squeeze in. And their last trump card is always going to be violence. Their last trump card is self-destruction on the earth. This is what's causing him to do what he's doing now. He's in a losing situation. He knows the wall. He sees the walls are closing. He feels the walls are closing. He feels the power escaping his grasp. He can feel the presence of Yahushua coming slowly, and he's filled with wrath. So part of his methods is to use every angle possible, and one of those is always that peaceable option. Well, wait a minute now. What about? Let's try to work together. I'm all for you. What about us? Why you trying to alienate those who are for you? And like the brother righteously said, we don't care. You see, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? Let me find this real quick. Scripture real quick. Right, Job 20, which is judgment on the hypocrite, as he says in verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reaching to the clouds, like you Edomites, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung, They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found, yet he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. And here's the point I want. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his bands shall restore their goods. So you see, this is what happens when the wicked, even when they reach their peak, and they see, because the Lord is a just power, because they've sold and done all these things in evil, the Lord is going to reward them of their evil. And part of them falling is to try to make amends and try to get around the judgment. And part of that is to try to seek to please the poor. Right? Oh, we're all for you. I'll march for you. And this is because they have a subconscious guilt, because they know that the Heavenly Father is a just power. And they know that their whole life really that they lived was off of basically like a free ride. And they had advantages, and they got ahead and all these other things, and they got established, and they got their children established, and they know all those things they've done because of this corrupt system of oppressing and stepping down others like our people. They know they've gotten that because of the system, because of their people, because of the oppression. And now that they can feel the judgment coming, they're trying to quote unquote make amends. And part of them making amends is just say, well, what about us? We care. I'm all for you. And like the brother said, we don't care. Your words don't matter. It didn't matter back then in 1968. It don't matter now. Because in the end, all that matters is that judgment is coming to your nation because of the things that you have done, especially to your brother Jacob. And you did it out of hate. And you know it's out of hate. You know it's out of jealousy. And deep down, you don't want our people to be free. That's why you did integration. The word integrate means to combine as one. You're not for Israelites being fully substantiated on their own. No. For you, it's either they're under your watch or they have to be in slavery. That's how you view your brother. Everybody knows it. You don't want our people to be free. You don't want our people to be... That's why you did what you did to Black Wall Street. The idea of our people being free and left alone, that terror haunts you deep down to say, well, what's going to happen to us if they get left their own? Eventually, that judgment is going to come back to us. That's why you destroyed Black Wall Street. That's why you treat us like second-class citizens. It's out of fear. That's why you deny us loans and you deny us benefits and privileges and job positions, because you're afraid, right, of Jake really being free. So don't give us that BS about, oh, I'm for you. No, you're not. You're only for us as long as you remain the head. As long as we're the tail, you're and you're the head, you're okay with, one living next to you. Just the one, you see? But if it goes on, it says, verse 11, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall ye down with him in the dust. See? And that's you. Your bones are filled with sin from your youth. And you know it. This is why, as we just said, you will try to seek to please the poor. Because now you see the judgment is coming. In your peak, you didn't care. Everything was good, right? But now that you see the powers are shifting and Jacob is multiplying, you're filled with wrath and anger. That's the revelation that's spoken about why the world is about to feel wrath. This world is about to feel wrath because the man that's in power, which is Cain, and reincarnated as Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, as well as the so-called Jewish man, sees that his power is losing, and the whole world is about to experience what it's like to be under the power of Cain, a sore loser, one who will not accept any position other than him being the head. And his attitude is, if I don't remain the head, there won't be a planet to live on. And don't think, Jacob, that I'm going to let you go. If anything, I'm going to persecute you the more, because I know that I'm about to be judged for what I did to you, and that you're the Lord's chosen people. And the prophecy says that the Lord is going to use you to do everything that I did to you back to me. So he's spazzing out. That's what the Lord is breaking down when he says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the devil is coming down unto you with great wrath, because he got a short time. Verse 12, he says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Yeah, because still in your mouth, you still had that attitude of, we won't let you go. You still gonna blame. Look, I saw a video today where Trump is literally trying to blame immigration, our people, for the reason that that Social Security is going to fail. Because they said that Social Security most likely going to run out, and he's trying to blame it on so-called illegal immigrants. But the entire system forbids any so-called illegal immigrant to receive benefits. But he's trying to say, we've been paying these people, and can you believe it? We've been paying? But the people like, oh, they're not even qualified. What are you talking about? You're just trying to justify control. We need to watch, take the power from the people, and now the Social Security is monitored over the few. But this is what he does. Whenever he wants to get something changed, he just blames Jacob. Oh, the reason America's failing is because of Israel. The Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, they're the reason it's failing. We need change. Everything is going south because of you. So we're to blame for everything. But on the other side of their mouth, right? Because they hide it in the tongue. The other side of their mouth is, yeah, we all for you. We're all for you. That's a damn lie.
John Brown.
That's
All the white John Browns stand up in here. All the white John Browns, they're going to die with us. All the white John Browns are now standing up. That's good.
There are many people who, when they
Yeah, that ain't going to change nothing, man. Don't matter if they want to help or anything like that. So all the John Browns can just sit down.
look at a Negro, look at him with disdain and disgust.
We don't care.
We don't care.
When our babies die, as Mr. Lucas just talked about, black babies starving to death, and you talk about looking at us with disdain and disgust while you barbarian murderers? How can you sit and talk with them?
This is not all like that.
Well, that's your problem. I'm not going to go around with a meter asking you what kind of white person you are.
There
How
isn't
about this
one
one here?
person in this
Right, we don't have time. Let me read that. For the ones who want to ask us, but what about the ones that do care? What about the ones that don't agree with? Look, it doesn't matter. In the eyes of the Lord, it does not matter. The eyes of the Lord, he says this. One second. In Jeremiah 30:16. Okay? This is him talking to the Israelites. He says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. They that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. So every one of them is going into slavery. If they are an Edomite, they are going to slavery. We're not going to measure with a meter to determine how much of an Edomite you are. It does not matter. We don't have time. The Lord does not have time for that. He's going to judge them all. It's just like the elder went into Elder GMS for the Most High, Elder Ricard Yaquan. When Egypt got judged, when the Lord brought judgment to the firstborn of Egypt, he brought it to every household. Even though, because you have some coon on the internet saying not every single white person had slaves. Doesn't matter. They benefited from the system. Just like when he brought judgment to Egypt, not everybody had slaves, but the Lord brought the firstborn plague upon every single household. The Lord judges nations as a whole. He judges on the individual, and he also judges as a whole as well. He's going to judge the Edomite nations as a whole. So it does not matter about what one may think. If you are an Edomite, your judgment is that you are going to suffer judgment for the actions of your nation as a whole, just like we Israelites suffered the actions suffered the consequences of the actions of our people as a whole. Okay? Yeah, there was times we put out evil and the Lord just judged the wicked, but when the bulk of us kept going off, the Lord brought judgment upon all of us. Why? Because that's the agreement that we made with the Lord.
That is an American, not one person. We all have ancestors from all over the world. We have come here. This is the greatest country in the world. It is for every single person that's in it. Every college student. You think you've been mistreated. Look how the Indians were mistreated that were here in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the history of your destruction. It's all being perpetrated by one nation of people, the Edomites. Yeah, and guess what? The Indians, the Native Americans, those are our brothers. Those are the children of Israel as well. You have just as much hatred as you have for them as you do for the Southern Kingdom, the Negro people population. That's why you target them, because you know that they're the children of Israel.
We're all part of each other. And as we become true Americans, this is true America. We will all be one.
The problem here is we're all off on a tangent. The problem here is not who loves who and who hates who. That is irrelevant. Lady, with all due respect to you, if your daughter wanted to marry a gorilla, that's her business. That's
and
not
you
the
may
problem.
marry a white man in the next few months. You
No,
don't know who
I've
you're
been
going to fall in love with.
no, I've been
God
integrated.
controls
I've been
this.
integrated all I need to be integrated. I've got
You
these
don't know.
freckles and these
No
red
one
hair
knows
as a
what's
result
gonna
of the rape that took place on my great grandmother in Mississippi.
Yes,
I don't want any more integration.
These young boys. No, they don't care what
I don't need it. I don't need it. The next man I marry will be black, so I can bring some little black babies in the world.
Negro
No, lady,
girls,
sit down.
and
I
they
want
will
that.
bring not black
I
children
don't
into
want
the
a
world,
white man
but
to
true
rape me.
Americans. He's not going to rape you. He's going to marry you. You are going to be his honored wife. This is America.
That's the problem with white America today.
We are
Sex is on your
Italian.
mind.
We are Italian.
So she's just saying, well, we're gonna all be mixed together and marry one another and all. So she's pushing for the integration. Like I said, integration means to combine. So that's one of the positions of these Edomites is we're in power. Okay, you can assimilate to us, but we won't allow you to be on your own. You see that? Every nation on the planet has the ability to be their own nation, to have their economy, to do whatever they want, except the Israelites. We have to assimilate. We can't be on our own. You see why? Because of that fear. That fear that is that's at the core of their. They all know why they just can't leave us alone. They know it. Okay, our people have been asking, how about you just leave us alone? Like the brother said, well, how about you just leave us alone? They can't allow that because of that fear of judgment, of you guys being left to yourself. You're eventually going to take over. They know that. So their whole, from a position of control, is to say, wait a minute, integration, right? And oh, marry us. You know, I saw this video of this Edomite woman. Because you know a lot of Edomite women talk about, oh, we're just gonna go get, you know, black man, etc. This one woman was saying how, you know, how she get, you know, backlash from her family or whatever, and how she was like, well, even during the time of slavery, we all basically they always wanted black men, but we just couldn't do it. But now that we're free, that means we're coming together, all this other stuff. And then she's basically like, well, maybe that just means we just, and she's like, and the black man, they want us. So maybe we just always liked each other. How about that? Well, look here, let me say this much. Okay. The only real reason Jake is dealing with you Edomite women, the reason the so-called black man dealing with the so-called white woman, for the most part, It's just simply because you're the next available option. That's it. The Lord used you, okay, to take over the world. You had us in slavery. You're just the next available option. That's all it is, because Jake is tired of the so-called black woman. So who does he go next? We're in America, and primarily it's just Jacob and Esau, depending on where you live. If you live in California or Texas or a place where it's more diverse, right? But if Jake is under the if Jake is under the curse of the black woman being the curse, so he's gonna go to the next option. You're just the next one, and since you've always lusted after Jake, you're able to easily fall into his lap. That's it. If the Lord used Moab to take over the world, Jake would be dealing with Moab, right? It's just because we're in this land, we brought over in slavery. That's all it is. You're just the next available option. That's it. So don't think you're this special high prize that men always sought after. No. Wherever Jake is at, whatever woman is available, he's going to deal with that woman. If the Lord used Ham, or if he used Elam, that's what you'll be seeing a lot of Jake with Elam. That's it, man. All right? Get over yourself. This is Ezekiel 35, verse 5. This is start at 1, so we know who we're talking about here. We're talking about these Edomites. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Now, Mount Seir is Esau, Edom. It's a city in Esau. All right? And say unto it, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, because thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Here's the point, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So you see, the Lord tells you that he's a rewarder of those, of the work of those. So if you're known for doing evil, the Lord's just going to reward evil to you. And that's exactly what the Lord is saying. Since you love blood so much, and you don't hesitate to slay your own brother and oppress him because you're mad, right? Because you're Cain, right? And I've chosen them to be mine, and you're mad, and you slew him with the sword all your days, then the Lord is going to prepare you to the sword. He's just rewarding you for the things that you have done. And these Edomites know it. They know that the Lord's judgment is coming. So like I said, since they're in a position of power, they're going to try to exonerate themselves by trying to say, I'm for you, but they won't give up that position though. You see? And that's why it's integration, but not, that's why they put it into segregation and said no, integration as a form of control so we can watch them. But they're not looking to give up the power seat. They're not looking to really hand over the keys to this kingdom. Okay? They still want to maintain power. They just want to maintain control over Jacob. But since they see the judgment is coming, they're trying to find a way to squeeze on in. And that's why they have a problem with what we're doing. That's why Vocab is upset. Because he's an Edomite and he's from that same position. And his whole thing is, just like the Edomites are, I see that 12 tribe chart. What about me? And we're saying this has nothing to do with you. And the attitude of Esau is, well, if there ain't no salvation for me, if I'm not included, then it gotta go. That's Esau, man. That's why Vocab's doing what he's doing. If nobody, look, he doesn't care if we're not. Nobody would care if we're saying that the so-called Arab man can be saved, or if we made fun of Arabs and their belief, or if we say the Chinese. Nobody's petitioning for the Chinese. The only people they're trying to petition is to save the so-called white man, and they're trying to save him from his own judgment. Okay? That's why you got our people coming against us. Everybody's trying to say, nobody cares about the other nations. All right? You only care about that one nation, these Edomites. And Vocab, from his position, he's a desperate Edomite. He's losing. That's why he has to come with the love the front of the love. Oh, I care about you, but in the back of his mind, he's angry. He's full of wrath. He'll backstab because he's in the position of an Edomite. He knows he's over with, so he's trying to use all the things he can do. You see, that's why the scripture says, in the end, it said the Lord said, the heathen shall envy thee, but shall be able to do nothing against thee, because they really just desire to be in our shoes, and they know there's nothing they can do. And that's why ultimately in the end, vocab, he has this front of, oh, I'm trying to save the Israelites. He's going to resort to violence. He doesn't have a choice. Okay, well, he does have a choice, but we know what he's going to do, because there's nothing he can do that can change the Lord's mind, that can change what's about to come to him. That's why he's mad at us. So he's saying, unless you guys include me in the salvation, then it's got to go. That's Esau. That's Esau. Unless I'm in the power seat, then it got to go. Unless God and the Heavenly Father and the Son look like me, then there is no God. That's this man, you see.
White America, lady. You have talked since you come on this program about your lovely daughter marrying this other man. Sex is not the problem. Economics, politics, culture.
This is what made America. They came from
Lady,
every
I
nation.
don't
One at a time, folks, please. Just finish yourself up. What would you like to say? Go
The
ahead.
Salvation Army has met votes of every immigrant, every country of the world. They have given them money to start out here in this country to help themselves become better, because this is a free country.
All right, fine. Now, what would you say to that? Ma'am, you wanted to respond.
I just want to respond and say this, that integration isn't the problem. The problem is how the Negro can become a man.
Right.
So long the black man has been emasculated. Now he wants to become a man, just as you. The black woman wants to be a woman on her own 2 feet, not because she's sexually attracted to a white man. Now, what Cora has said, and what I want, and I think what all black people want, is to have the equality that the Constitution says all men have.
Gentleman in the background.
My name is Russell Davis.
Yeah, but you know what? No longer are we going to plead with this man for the right to be free. We've been doing that long enough. And now we just relying on the Lord, as Isaiah 10, verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, the elect, such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but they shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. And that's why this day now, we're not asking, and that's why these Edomites are mad, because when we're talking about and we're prophesying the change that's going to come, we're not asking, we're just saying what the Lord's going to do. And this is why they want to be in a position of control, because they want to be able for us to go to them to continue to plead to be human, to be right, to have rights and all these things. And as long as we come to them, then they can always be in the power to deny us access or to control and give us the illusion that there's going to be change. We're not doing that anymore. We're going straight to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we're telling the change is going to come, and we're praying to him to speed things up, which is why Esau Edom is mad. Vocab Malone is filled with anger and wrath. Okay? He can't sleep. He has a new goal in life, which is to stop the Israelites. He can't just go on with his life anymore. Not long as we're on the streets, he can't. He has to make it his goal to try to stop the spiritual building. Read the book of Nehemiah as well as Ezra. When we started to build, that's when the other nations made moves. We got to stop this hindering. You know? Everybody's all right just as long as we're on the bottom and we're in slavery and we're in the Christian church slapping each other, talking about some, I rebuke the demon that's out of you. That's where Vocab wants you. He wants you back in the Christian church, slapping each other, twerking, because he knows you're asleep. He wants you back asleep. He don't want you to be free. You understand? But we're not going to rely on them anymore. But to finish that, in Ezekiel 35, Because that's the whole point, is for you Edomites to realize you're going to be judged for what you've done on the earth and what you've done to your brother from the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So it's really time for our people to separate themselves from you and just say, hey, look, the Lord got beef with you. I'm staying out of it. It's time to let go of this man. So back in Ezekiel 35, verse 6, or verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I'm going to jump to 11. He says, therefore as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Right? So the Lord said, I'm going to treat you the same way you've been treating Israel. I'm going to reward you for your works. That's the judgment of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And if you call yourself a Christian, isn't that truth? Is not the God of Israel? Is he not a rewarder of works? So why do you have an issue with us for just simply telling this man that he's going to pay for the things that he's done? If you really believe in the Lord, then you should understand that the Lord rewards those according to what they have done, right? So why are you trying to get mad? Why are you trying to exonerate them still? Because you still have their Stockholm syndrome. It's only one nation you're concerned about, right? And it don't matter what you try to get us to say. The Lord is a just power, and he's going to judge them accordingly. Oh, but you thinking like, well, I'm going to jump in the way. Oh, I'm going to stand in the way. Well, let's see what Proverbs 21 and Proverbs 11 and 21 says. He says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So, oh, I'm going to hold their hand when them missiles come, all right? You're going to burn right up with them. Oh, I'm going to jump in front of the sword when the angel come, all right? Well, he's going to thrust right through you. You're not stopping nothing. Okay? Obadiah. Read the book of Obadiah. Is you being rewarded for the things that you have done. Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Okay? Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress. So you Edomites did nothing but wanted to see our people fall. And you rejoiced, and you helped the others to help us fall. And this is all you've done since you had us in slavery. But now that you feel that you see that the power is shifting and that you're losing strength over us as well as the world, you're using all your options, and part of those options is to try to plead. Another option you think is to try to integrate. Right? These are your methods to try to get out of being judged. It don't work. Okay? It don't matter if it doesn't matter if your daughter marries an Israelite. That don't mean nothing. It's not going to change the judgment from the Lord. Oh, but we like each other. You're just the next available option. Let's just keep it at that. Okay? The Lord turned our women against us. You're just the next option. So don't think you're just this. No. Okay, you're a she beast.
A student of political science. This afternoon, Mr. Meeks has said that he's not afraid of alienating white America. The young lady from Winnetka has stated that she saw during the marches which she participated in people who were full of fear and hatred. Mr. Lucas has said that the American Negro is either going to be free or he's going to be dead. My question is this. If the violence continues, aren't you, Mr. Meeks, and you, Mr. Lucas, afraid that it's going to be the second alternative?
Again, a position of an Edomite. Oh, well, if we can't come to a peaceful solution, we'll just use weapons. That's his thing. Like, aren't you afraid that we'll just pull out our guns? Right? That's what he's trying to say. Just like that guy said on Jesse Lee Peterson in the 1992. He said the same thing. He said, if I can't please God, then what's just stopping us from nuking all of you? See? If I can't make it to the kingdom, what's stopping us from just killing all of you? You see, but they always got to target us, though. Why has it always got to be us? That's it. This is their position. Their position is either we get along and I remain the head, or I just take you all out. But you see, the option of being free isn't an option. Why isn't the option of the Israelites being free or getting their 40 acres, which that never happened? Okay, why isn't any of those options? Because they're afraid. They know this is all about Jacob and Esau. Their judgment is coming. You know, they ain't worried about no other nation coming over here and prospering and taking. It's only worried about one nation being free, and that's Jacob. That's the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, our people don't understand that this goes back to the womb. This goes back to the womb, and it goes back to the blessing. All right, the history of hatred that Esau has for Jacob is more than just skin deep. It's not about skin color. It's about spiritual. It's about the older brother harboring hatred for the younger brother because of the blessing, just like Cain slew Abel. That's what this is all about.
Mr. Meek, quickly.
Yeah, let me answer this gentleman. You know, it's very hard to say what you want to say when after you've said it, somebody gets some answer like you haven't been talking. But you know what, young white fellow? I got a son in the 101st Airborne that you're going to kill, probably, because he's going to Vietnam. I got a nephew just came back from Korea that was wounded 3 times. The first thing happened, he went home, but a cop beat the hell out of him with a pistol butt. Now, you get this straight. You can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. You think you're so indestructible. You think you're so great because you got all these weapons. I remember Mao Zedong once said he wondered where he'd get his weapons from, and then we armed Chiang Kai-shek. And he said, thank you, Jesus. You see? So don't misunderstand us, baby. We're dead serious. This country was founded on revolution. Those little settlers out there in the northeast section of this country had some muskets and some sticks and some stones. And they whipped the mighty professional British Army, baby. And 5,000 of them were black, and one black woman disguised herself as a man and fought with you all. And we don't have our freedom yet. We fought in every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here because we're going to be free. Now you kill all you want to, but we kill too. And we don't frighten. We don't frighten at all.
That's right, brother, but it's going to be Yahweh Shai that's going to be the one that's going to do it. America was established upon violence, and it will be destroyed with violence. As Revelation 18:21 says, 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh have avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it to the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And how is that violence going to come? By way of nuclear missiles, World War III. And the Lord is rallying these nations. They all have their aim, the targets set to this place. So the Lord's going to destroy this place with fire, and it's going to be just judgment because of the violence of the brother, of what he did to his brother Jacob and the whole earth. Okay? So the Lord's going to bring the judgment to this place, because the scriptures refer to this man, America, as the hammer. Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Babylon, America, is also known as the hammer in the eyes of the Lord. All right, how's you cut down in an instant? And they call themselves that. That one guy that talked about the the 7 countries, the plan for the 7 countries takeover, the last one being Iran, he said the same thing. He said, whoever he was talking to, he said, well, when all you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So they believe that the way they get things done is violence. So the Lord is just going to bring violence to you. That's what's going to happen to you. As Yahushua says in Revelation 22:12, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be. So then you just look, what is the Edomites, what is the so-called white man, as well as the so-called Jewish man, known for in the earth? Violence. So what is the Lord going to do and bring to them? The same thing that they've done upon the earth. So understand, your judgment is with the Lord. No matter, you can't plead with us. Even if you try to put us in concentration camps to destroy us, which the scripture says you are, it's not going to stop what the Lord has in store for you. But this man is such a diabolical, mad, sore loser. He's going to literally fight to the end, and he's going to seek to commit self-destruction on the earth before he deals with his judgment. Okay? But the Lord is going to judge him accordingly, man. Change is coming, and it's going to be through Yahushua. Shalom.